Hello everyone and welcome to this week's reviews. Jennifer Lawrence takes on the role of a Russian ballerina turned spy as she hops between countries and comes into contact with Joel Edgerton's CIA agent. This is Red Sparrow. While most people walking into Red Sparrow might expect an action-packed thriller, this is not that kind of movie. Director Francis Lawrence seems to be emulating the kinds of movies Paul Verhoeven tends to make in Europe. And there's a fitting seediness in the way it depicts the less glamorous aspects of spy work. This is a carefully paced film that is more about the minutiae and the preparation of the job than gunfights, and it is not at all pleasant. While Red Sparrow is a bit too gratuitous at points, that uncomfortable feeling when watching the movie is the proper reaction. A lot of credit should go to Jennifer Lawrence, who has to play this essentially stoic character, and yet she still makes Dominica a fleshed-out character. And part of the intrigue of Red Sparrow comes from the uncertainty of her alliances. Francis Lawrence builds the proper tension in certain sequences, and I was definitely intrigued in the twists and turns that followed. This is definitely not the kind of movie that holds your hand, but it all nicely comes together in the third act. However, I did not find Joel Edgerton nearly as interesting, and I just wanted the film to cut back to whatever Dominica was doing. I also have to mention the cinematography, which brings the proper seedy quality and also makes each country Dominica visits feel distinct. But mark my words, this movie will not be for everyone. I also found myself feeling squeamish at times, but then the film would have failed had I not. I really have to commend 20th Century Fox for tackling such an uncommercial film they will undoubtedly lose money on. But it's great to see Jennifer Lawrence use her Hunger Games and Oscar cred to take on these challenging roles in, well, challenging films. Next up is the latest screen incarnation of Brian Garfield's book about a family man turned vigilante in Death Wish. By itself, this is not a particularly good movie. It's a rather ugly film with a lead character who we're meant to root for, but at no point does the story become terribly compelling, as he immediately goes around shooting generic one-note criminals. However, the timing of its release makes Death Wish seem especially in poor taste. I won't go into my own personal politics on here, but it's kind of hard not to bring your own baggage to a film like this. One's uneasiness with this movie will definitely depend on where you side on the gun control issue. There is nothing subtle about this movie and its views on guns, whether it's through the dialogue or the imagery. Director Eli Roth even splices in radio discussions that further expand on the message of the movie. Action-wise, it's the usual shoot-'em-up splatter fest, although there are points where you can tell Roth wants to bring out his inner grindhouse. There are so many contrivances in the plot to give Bruce Willis the motivation and necessities to commit these killings, and I did roll my eyes at quite a few moments. There are moments where things could easily have been resolved with little bloodshed, but no, Bruce Willis just escalates the problem further. I do have to give Death Wish credit in that it could have portrayed the detectives trying to solve the murder of Willis's wife as incompetent or even villainous, but it doesn't. If anything, the detectives are the most sympathetic characters, because they're clearly trying their best to solve this murder and even continually update Willis on how they're proceeding, but he just keeps on pulling this vigilante nonsense. This whole movie was just wrong-headed to me, but there will be an audience who will side with its message. I just don't. But to conclude on a lighter note, Death Wish has Elizabeth Shue and Vincent D'Onofrio in it, making this quite an unusual adventures in babysitting reunion. Both films even set in Chicago, so make of that what you will. Thanks for watching this week's reviews, and I'll see you next time.